Hey, all right, welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. Today's episode is July 31st. So, in these videos, we bring in the art of war from the East and some Stoicism from the West, and we try to combine the two into a daily teaching that helps us see things differently, better ourselves, and, bring Eastern and Western philosophy together in one place. So, without further ado, the last day of the month, the last teaching of Sun Tzu, the last two verses, verse 36. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. And then we close with verse 37. Such is the art of warfare. August is all about variation and tactics. So looking forward to that. But for today's teaching, when you surround an enemy, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. Give them room to retreat, because if you only leave them room and the ability to fight to the death, then now they are a keen foe ready to go home and almost impossible to defeat. So I think the last teaching is just always make sure to, and you know how we kind of talked about the reverse psychology of the art of war in today's day and age. um, if you're wanting to make sure to give your enemy room to move, to retreat, to step back, make sure you're doing that for yourself too. Maneuverability in your own life is very good, as we've been learning right from the last month, and that's how you that's the art of war, right? That's how he closes with it. It's like, this is composure. This is where we want to be. So let's go over to our alternate interpretation. See, so that other one is, this one is adaptations instead of different style tactics. So every interpretation of Art of War is a little different. So that's why I like to gather a few different ones and versions. So a surrounded army must be given a way out. Chow Chow, or Cao Cao, says the ancient rule of the charioteer says, surround them on three sides, leave one side open to show them a way to life. Right? Don't give them one option, live or die. Uh, Fleeing for your life is a good option and a good way to defeat an army or a battle. Dumu says, show them a way to life so that they will not be in the mood to fight to the death, and then you can take advantage of this to strike them. Do not press a desperate enemy. Master Sun, do not press a desperate enemy. The second half of that verse. Mei Yao Chen says, an exhausted animal will still fight as a matter of natural law. Zhang Yu says, if the opponents burn their boats, destroy their cooking pots, and come to fight it out once and for all, don't press them, for when animals are desperate, they thrash out wildly. So don't corner an animal, don't corner, I mean, we're humans. I think that's part of the teachings, is always reminding ourselves that while we've come so far in society, when it gets to life or death situations, then we should fight. And I think in order to internalize the art of war and use it to our advantage in everyday situations, is just to know that there are things that we should fight for and things that will give us life. And that's, pursuing a meaningful career, having a family, things like that. But then we also need to be able to tie it into other teachings to kind of bring us back to center, and make sure we're not solely on the war path. And so I think these strategies with the meditations and the internal teachings kind of give us a very beautiful framework for where we're trying to go with this. So credit where credit is due. Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman are the authors of this amazing book. I have two copies. I recommend at least one for you. So I know that this is, yeah. So go buy a copy of their book, y'all. It's fantastic, and I recommend it. So you can read along with me. July 31st. Your career is not a life sentence. How disgraceful is the lawyer whose dying breath passes while at court, at an advanced age, pleading for unknown litigants and still seeking the approval of ignorant spectators. Seneca on the Brevity of Life, 20.2. Before we even dive in, I just saw a post from a very close family friend, business colleague who is also family, like third cousin. That's kind of what you get down here in the areas where I live. And he just retired, and that just makes me think, currently trending right now, July 31st 2023, there's a beer commercial that um, talks about retiring, and retiring is a mindset. And I've seen this idea pushed for more a lot lately, and I quite agree with it. I mean, in Tim Ferriss's book's a 4 hour work week, and so it's so weird for someone like me who's considered a financial advisor in many aspects of life, a portfolio manager, or an investment advisor. um, that's kind of not traditionally what you would hear from the people who are the big financial corporations. They want more. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about enjoying what you have while you have it. And so while the beer commercial takes it a little too far, like, oh yeah, enjoy the moment, you don't want to enjoy too much beer, too much retirement. But the whole idea of retiring in chunks instead of working for a majority of a life that you may die in the middle of working, just enjoy what we have. So let's see what they say on Seneca's teaching, and then let's see how we can wrap up the month of July. Every few years, a sad spectacle is played out in the news. An old millionaire, still lord of his business empire, is taken to court. Shareholders and family members go to court to argue that he is no longer mentally competent to make decisions, that the patriarch is not fit to run his own company and legal affairs, because this powerful person refused to ever relinquish control or develop a succession plan. He is subjected to one of life's worst humiliations, the public exposure of his most private vulnerabilities. We must not get so wrapped up in our work that we think we're immune from the reality of aging and life. Who wants to be the person who can never let go? Is there so little meaning in your life that your only pursuit is to work until you are eventually carted off in a coffin? Take pride in your work, but it is not all. August 8th is pragmatism, adaptability, pragmatism, adaptations. One of my strengths finder strengths is adaptability. So we might take a little bit of time to talk about that, but I look forward to seeing y'all at the start of the next month. So keep standing tall.